Welcome back to the PreVetted Podcast, where we spotlight extraordinary people and remarkable talent reshaping our world. Our guest today is Jonathan Colazo. He's an inventor and relentless problem solver who has built not one, but two deep tech companies at the intersection of robotics, autonomy, and real world impact. He's the founder and CEO of Ostrich Air and FireBot Labs, two organizations pioneering robotics, hardware, and autonomous systems for defense, public safety, and critical infrastructure. Jonathan's story is far from typical. There's no Ivy League degree, no venture capital pedigree. What he does is he brings an obsession with solving problems that matter, a passion that started with drones and evolved into building battlefield-tested, mission-driven technology. From underfitting battle robots to advanced autonomy systems, shaping the future of public safety, Jonathan and his team are providing an innovative solution that is guided by mission and not money. So it's going to be an interesting journey. We're going to talk about the origins of Ostrich Air and FireBot Labs and what it takes to break the mold while building the future. So welcome, Jonathan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for the invite. Happy to be here.
Great. I'm happy that you're here. I find your I find your atypical profile very interesting. I mean, I'm also, I haven't finished college, but eventually ended up finding leading engineering teams and doing software development, working on different corporations and startups. So yeah, I mean, you can make it with no Ivy League degree.
Yeah, man. You just have a
Yeah.
passion. You just have to have a passion for it, and work an insane amount of hours, as and you can make anything happen.
Yes. So how, what was your first prototype, and that
First,
made you realize robotics? It's your thing.
so actually, I'll tell you a little bit of. So I'm from Florida originally. I'm not from
Right.
from California. And that's I grew up over there in Florida. I had a computer company when I was a teenager, and kind of, when I say computer company, I mean like I started fixing my friends' computers, family computers. Then eventually it became a business where I was doing, pretty well for myself.
Oh,
Because of
nice.
that, I ended up, not paying too much attention to high school, which is a bad thing. I don't suggest that to anybody. But it grew my company to a point where I was doing really well. That company moved on to having an architectural firm, which then I stepped out of and moved to California. In California, I basically was just looking to see what I was gonna go do. I started playing video games. I started playing Call of Duty and even started my own clan and started having a lot of fun. And then I realized video games wasn't my thing, even though we are competing already for money. And it's almost everything I end up touching, I get obsessed with. And then I turn it into a money making thing, I just can't help it. But it wasn't my thing. So I literally disconnected my Xbox, never played again, and picked up a drone. Uh, when I picked up a drone, I'm telling you, like it was like fireworks. Like my head went crazy. I was like, okay, this is some insane technology, and I felt like I was at the right place at the right time with the right tech. Except I knew nothing about drones. so of course, I'm self-educated, so, street smart, I'm gonna learn this stuff. So started getting parts, started buying parts, started, hanging out with groups. You start looking for groups online that kind of match what you're trying to learn. And I just went nuts. Like, I'm telling you, dude, there was so many boxes showing up at the house, and there was a lot of cursing going out of my office trying to figure out how this stuff worked and blowing up stuff. And it was pretty funny. But I was obsessed with learning, how the technology worked, so that I can get into the industry. So my goal wasn't to start a company. My goal was, this is amazing technology and I have to be a part of it somehow. So I wanted to learn enough so I can get a job at one of these engineering companies that worked on drones. And so my obsession came from that. And I did. I got into a drone delivery company. So it worked out for me. Started helping out at this drone delivery company and learning more, of course. And then eventually I knew enough where I was doing a lot of consulting. So I started consulting for a lot of the other drone companies, just trying to figure out, again, I'm just trying to get smarter so that I can land in the right company that I believe would blow up and, make it happen, right?
Right.
Um, so that was the goal. You're just trying to get smart enough to be around the smart people. That's that's kind of what it is. But then I realized that there was a lot, there's a lot of time that was gonna go by before a lot of these drone companies really made it. Like the first one was a drone delivery company, and I realized that regulations and just too many things that would not allow for a drone delivery company to make it big enough, fast enough that the way that I think I need to be somewhere that grows fast, makes a lot of money, and grows big. Um, and so then I went to drone security. So drone security companies was pretty cool because I mean they own their own properties, so I can let go of a drone in a place, and like the regulations are not the same. It's like I own the property, I can have a drone in that property, and I can secure it.
So you don't have
So
any regulation constraints there.
yeah, it's a lot less. There's regulation, but I mean it's like nothing. Imagine trying to deliver a pizza to your house with a drone versus I am securing my house and or my building or my construction site. Big difference,
Right.
right? So that's kind of what excited me. I was like, okay, I can be a part of this until some of these other verticals, grow. And started doing drone security. That went pretty well. The company itself that I was at didn't do so great. And that's when I decided, you know what? I think I'm gonna start my own thing now. Like I know enough, I understand the market, I know enough people know me to understand the technology. So maybe I start my own thing. And that's where Ostrich Air kind of was born. Um, Ostriches, as you know, can't fly, which was a hilarious, twist. And for me, it was more of like, we're making the impossible possible. So if we can make an ostrich fly, dude, we're gonna do awesome. So that's where that comes from. And if you look at the logo for Ostrich Air, you'll see that he has a cracked helmet from trying. So
Oh,
yeah.
right.
But at the end, so what Ostrich Air really is, it became an R&D lab. So what that means is if you came in here and you said, "Hey, I have this problem, like I need a vehicle that can, handle this job for this long." And, I mean, basically you give me a problem and we would then build a drone at first that can handle that. But then we started doing, ground robots and water robots, underwater, space, autonomous vehicle stuff, and pretty much manned and unmanned, and just anything. So it became what Mr. Jared now became an R&D lab for any problem that had to do with robotics. And then it expanded even from that. So we're even doing stuff that has no moving parts, but software, hardware, and we're doing the prototype. So 0 to 1. So if you thought about it, we can make it happen, and it's hardware, software, and nowadays, AI and everything else in between. So it's all in house. We take care of it all, and that's how FireBot Labs was born. Because now I'm doing something that I want to do. I'm excited. We have a badass team. A lot of scientists and engineers from high level schools, and we're just making cool stuff happen. But when you work in so many different areas, you end up kind of coming up with ideas on how to help. Like, how can we help? Like, I mean, we have all this knowledge. How can we help? And of course, you're noticing all the fires here in California, and I'm like, dude, all this knowledge we have, we got to be able to do something, right? So we started making stuff like before we even talked to anyone, we just started making stuff. So we started building drones that can detect fires. We started building drones that land inside fires and take fires out. I mean, we're backwards. Instead of trying to look for money, we were just building and testing out ways on if we could solve the problem or not. You know, once we realized we could solve the problem, then we were like, okay, this is a good idea. Now let's see if we could get some funding so that we can create it. So it was going to be under Ostrich Air. But then we realized that if I got investors involved into FireBot Labs or into this product, right, that all the R&D stuff that we do in Ostrich Air would have to stop. So that's when we had decided, okay, we're starting a second company. So that's where
Right.
FireBot Labs is born. Yeah. Go
Out of
ahead. Yeah.
necessity, you created a new company. Yeah.
Exactly, because now I can have a company that basically it's almost impossible for it to die because it's being backed by Ostrich Air. So it's being backed by a badass team that can handle basically any problems that gets thrown at it. It's investable, so now I could have people, friends, family, companies that know us invest into it, and it lives inside of our own place until it grows big enough to kind of step out, right?
Right.
And we did. So we built it out, built the product. It's going live now. Um, and it's a fully autonomous drone system that's able to do some incredible stuff with AI. And there we go. I mean, everybody told me basically it was a bad idea. Helping the fire department wasn't going to make me any money, but I didn't care. I wanted to make something that could help people, and I knew that we could figure out a way of making money with it. But the main purpose of FireBot Labs is how do we save lives? So how do we make something that outlives us? So making really cool tech that later on, who cares who made it, but you feel like, wow, I was a part of that. That was awesome. So
Right.
so
Right.
that's what FireBot Labs is. It's a system that's meant to outlive us and technology that will save lives forever, and the money was not the reason why it was built. It was built specifically to save lives.
Right. Right. Well, the money becomes a way to perpetuate the mission, right? And
Hmm.
to have more resources to build more cool stuff, right? I mean,
Exactly, yeah.
but it becomes a secondary necessity, right?
Yeah. So we did have to figure it out. I mean, the
Right.
fire department was not going to pay us the amount of money that we're spending on making this system. So we just found alternative companies that would be able to benefit from the exact same technology. And it turned out there was a lot. So
Oh,
uh,
nice.
so that is, basically what pays FireBot Labs. So at the end of the day, honestly, my dream, which it's not even a dream at this point because I know I can make it happen now, is we will be able to supply fire departments, with equipment, even if they tell us and we look at their budgets and they're like, dude, I can only afford $1. I could put a badass system that protects that neighborhood in that area. And because of everything else, I can, take care of the fire department at a super incredible low cost that they don't even have to worry about it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I'm super proud of this one. So
That's amazing. So the the drone flies by itself and takes care of the fires.
yeah, so that's the end goal. The end goal is
Right.
being able to take care of the fires. We know how to do it. Not right now. What we're launching is the full autonomy. So that means like instead of having to sit there and train somebody and teach them how to fly a drone, or all these things that basically become a liability. All you have to do, and eventually you only have to do that, is literally click on the map. Like, where's the issue? Or type in the address. That's it. That's all you do. The drone automatically arrives on location, starts doing its thing, gives you live video, gives you live details of what's going on in that area. And when you're done looking at it, it'll go home and recharge and get ready for you to click on the next place. So It's no, you don't have to think about it. You just want information. We make it so that you could get that information without you having to think about how you got it, basically.
Right. So you only give them you give the location, and then the drone takes care of getting there
Yeah,
somehow and take care of the fire.
exactly. Yeah.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's pretty
Uh,
sick. Yeah. So,
and do you go back and forth bringing water in?
so eventually, yeah, it'll be something that will scale to that. Right now, because the drones are
Right.
small, is more about the information at the beginning. So being able to
Right.
tell you, hey, this is where the fire is at. This is where it could be spreading. This is what you should do. Like that kind of stuff. As the company grows, it'll get to that point of, like I mentioned before, like we tested landing inside of a fire and taking fires out. It just takes a lot of drones, and a lot of money to go into that exact point. But it's fun as heck, man. It's so much fun to be able to, see these things in action. So
Right. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I can see how you would destroy one drone after another one, just trying to get it in, right?
yeah, it's like how does this survive? 2,000 degrees. You landed and can you fly out? Because it's one thing to land, but you need to be able to fly out after you landed in that heat.
Right.
Exactly. So
Right.
that's what makes it fun. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it kind of reminds me when I was a kid that I would open up toys to see how it works,
Uh-huh.
right? And then I couldn't put them together, right? I was like,
That's
well, now I know how it works.
that's you're explaining my life. The guys here, my CTO, everybody like will come around my desk, and if they handed me something that was expensive, you'll see them take it away because they know it will be in pieces because I'm going to figure out how it works. And I almost do it I almost do it unconsciously. So I always have some kind of fidget thing in my hands because
Right.
I'm that's how my brain works. You put something in front of me, I'm going to tear it apart without knowing. So, and then I will be examining it if it's something new. If it's not, then it just became a part.
Yeah, I mean, we want to see the soul. We want to see how it actually works. We want to see the insides. Yeah.
Exactly, right? How do you know how things work? I mean, like it's one thing when you go and go to school, you go to university, they teach you the theory and you get to read all these things on how this stuff supposed to work. Like my
Right.
CTO here, he's a Stanford aerospace and mechanical engineer with a business degree. Jeez. I mean, how many titles can you have, right? So so when we started working together, it was one of those things where he's like, dude, theory or science says that this is not possible. And I'm like, well, my crazy brain says that it's possible. So we should try it and see what's going to happen. And and to be honest, what would happen is sometimes I was right, sometimes I was wrong, but every single time we both learned something. And then by meeting amazing people, like I've met some extraordinary people, that inventors and scientists, and I kept asking every single one and the same question. I'm like, when you wrote a book, when you wrote a white paper, when you wrote about this discovery that you made, was that like really 100% everything you learned? And every single one of them said no. Every single one of them said no, that was kind of the trash. It was the stuff that basically gets you to, write a book for people to understand that you know what you're doing and that they can learn enough on it. But the real cool stuff happens if you try. That's where you really learn. So I'm excited. I was like, okay, that makes sense because I've learned so much stuff by just blowing things up. like, and now listening to a scientist with a degree who's like changed history, with his discoveries telling you, yeah, dude, what I wrote on that book is cool to most people, but what was really cool is the things that I learned when I was blowing stuff up, learning how to do that. So
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, I can understand that we kind of need a little bit of both because we need
Mhm.
the papers to kind of build
Yes.
this scientific knowledge that is proven, that is, I can understand that. But yeah, that's
Hmm.
always going to be a lag behind, the cool innovation, right?
It's
Because,
old. Yeah.
right, it's
It's
old.
old
Yeah, it's old.
technology. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's in a book, it's old. So, yeah, so that's, I mean, but that's where you need the people, like you said, like I am surrounded by badass engineers with PhDs, with, tons of practical of knowledge, right? And I'm the only crazy one in here that doesn't. I'm the one that's just saying, I don't know, maybe we should do this or do that. Um, and again, at the end of
Right.
the day, that's why it works because we get to push innovation. We get to, ask those hard questions. Is that really that way? Like, can you push it a little bit harder? What can it really do? So,
Right. Right. I mean,
mhm,
uh, this reminds me of a story, somebody, a group of people are driving a car, and then the car stopped driving, right? And then the, mechanical engineers, things can fix the car, but not really. A mechanical engineer will be able to build you a new carburetor, a new injection system, whatever it is, right? But usually won't be able to fix the car, right? But then you have you know the the mechanic that has a lot of practical knowledge, right? He will do bang bang here, bang bang there. It shouldn't work, but it works. Uh,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It ain't
Hmm.
stupid if it works, right?
No, it's
And
true. It's yeah,
yeah,
vast
and
knowledge of the product, right? Yeah.
right, maybe doesn't know the Bernoulli theory or whatever, right? But can make it work, right? So there is
Hmm.
there is a lot of value on the practical, knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need both. You definitely need both. Like I wish I had the ability and the time to have learned more, but now I get taught by the guys who went to school, right? So
Right,
so they teach me what they learn, and I teach them what I learned. Like I banged
right.
on this and this happened. They tell me the scientific reason why that happened. So,
Right, right. And it's good information because you need it at that time to guide your test to a new direction, right?
exactly. Yeah, yeah. So you know how far to go, but you also know what to test. And if they're confused, you know definitely to push. So, we're about to learn
Yeah.
something today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I can see how that happens. And the other thing is you're coming with a different perspective of the world. So that means that you don't come in with a preconception
Hmm.
of everything you already learned, right?
Hmm.
So then you can pick and choose and be innovative in ways that nobody else would.
Exactly. Yeah. Big companies move slow. I learned a lot of big companies, they move really slow because they'll spend too much time trying to figure out on paper and on math how they should move ahead. I say they have a meeting about a meeting about a meeting, right?
Right.
The difference between our lab is in 10 days there will be a flying thing. It's like, wait, will it crash? There's a 99% chance it will. But then the second one that happens, 10 days after that, which is still, a fraction of the time that they would have spent talking about it, we've now have a flying prototype that's doing, 70% of what we said it was going to do. And in 6 months, that thing is a monster after, a couple of reiterations. So
Wow.
big difference, like when you're able to just do instead of just talk about it. Like when the guys start talking about it, I mean, when the conversations are insane, when these guys get on the whiteboard and we start chatting about what the new project is and how we have to solve it, it is the funnest thing to watch. I mean, there's some insane math being thrown at the wall.
Right.
And then we go, okay, let's stop talking about it. Let's go to the shop and start grabbing stuff and put it to the test. But that happens within like a day or two. Like that's not a okay, let's sit here for weeks drawing it on CAD. No. Like, we'll draw it on CAD if the theory works. So,
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you can move fast and see if it works or doesn't. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and the excitement, of
Oh
is it going to
gosh.
work? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's a blast, man. I'm telling you, it's no fe it's I've never felt like this in any company I've ever had. Like, it's exciting to come to work, you know? Like, I mean, I went home yesterday. In my head, I was like, "Man, I feel like a slacker. I'm going home early," you know? It's like 5 PM. And then I still realize, "Wait, I've been here since 6 in the morning." Like, like having a 12-hour day around here feels like you were a slacker. And it
Right.
wasn't because you, like, were working, it's because you were having fun. So you're building stuff, you're working on things that were, exciting, and I mean, it's a trip, dude. Like when you find something you really truly love to do, it is such a trip. It's the best feeling ever.
Right. Right. Yeah, and the tiredness doesn't wait, right?
Hmm.
Um, there are two components, right? So you have immediate gratification of what you're doing, but also when you find what you're doing has purpose, meaningful for you, then that enhances the gratification, right? And
Hmm.
if you keep piling up on that, then oh man, that's a dream. Yeah.
It is, man. So I could tell you, man, I am one happy human being. I love what I do. I'm surrounded by badass people who know, who are passionate for the same reasons. Like we don't concentrate on what a resume says, more about what they built, what you've done and how much you like, doing what you do. So there's a few questions I won't say 'em on air here that I ask anybody that wants to work for us, and our list is insane of people that want to work for us. Um, and I ask a couple of questions. If you don't pass those 3 questions, doesn't matter if you were like the head of Lockheed Martin, you're not working with us.
Right.
so,
Right.
so
That's the thing when you build a high performance
mhm,
team, right?
mhm,
The, the next hire is critical, and the next one is critical because that could make or break your team dynamic, right?
exactly. Yeah, it's
So
about show me, not tell me. So,
right, right, yeah. I'm self-learned as well, and eventually I ended up doing things without having a name to it, right?
like,
Um,
yeah.
and then eventually somebody talks about that, and I realize, oh, what I've been doing, it's called whatever. Now I can put a label to it, right? It's like, oh, that makes sense, right? Uh, so it happened. It happened, many times that I came to a conclusion that it's a framework or it's somebody put a name to it or somebody already invented it, quote unquote. Yeah, right.
Yeah, man.
uh,
Yeah.
and it's amazing because that means, well, when you're trying things out, you don't know, right? Am I in the right direction? Am I in the wrong direction? So you get this validation that it's nice. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I used to look up every time I have like a cool idea, I would um try to look up, okay, is it invented? Is it not invented? And when you do work in a lot of like high level stuff like this, you still want to do side stuff, like, side projects and just things that make no sense sometimes. It's just your own project, your own thing. And lately, what I've had to do is I'm not going to look to see if it exists. I'm going to build it and then I'll look to see if it exists. Because my idea behind that was I want to see if it exists, how they built it, and if I did the same thing or if they had a different idea. Isn't that cool? so, so you end up
Right.
just
Right.
it was because it was for fun anyway. So it wasn't like a money making thing. It was just like, okay, I had this idea. I'm gonna build it. My side time, which I don't have no side time, dude. I work like a million hours a day, but still, I still find time to just take a little break and build something for myself.
Right.
And yeah, it's fun to be able to build it and then go look, on the internet and be like, oh yeah, it does exist. So there's okay, there's 1,000 people that made something like this. Uh, but it's cool then kind of comparing what you built versus what they built and seeing if you were did a better version or a worse version, or it's just fun. It's an
Right.
interesting way to learn.
But if you look at it before you build it, now your experiment is tainted because now you know what is being built, right?
You might not even
So
try to build it at that point. You
right,
might be like discouraged to even try it, right? So
right. This way you're because the thing is, if you compare yourself with others, then there's always somebody that's going to make it a little bit better, a little bit had a little bit more experience, whatever, right? So it's going to be demoralizing, right? But
yeah.
if you do it for yourself and then you compare, it's like, well, it's interesting. I came to this conclusion. These people came to this other conclusion for whatever reason, right? Yeah. I remember Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about
Oh, he's
if you,
awesome. Yeah.
yeah, he's awesome. He was saying that if you if the civilization gets destroyed, right, or we start a blank with science, right, other people with other names are going to come up eventually with the same conclusions as we have today, right?
Mhm.
Whereas, if you take some pseudoscience or whatever, they're never going to come up with those conclusions because they don't have the scientific method to prove it, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting, man. I never think that I like when I come up with anything, or when the team comes up with anything, you always assume that there's thousands of people around the world that came up with the same idea. And the reason you think that way is because if you came up with it, is because there's circumstances around that gave you the idea. So that means
Right.
there's a lot of people out there. Now, who's gonna build it? Who has the capacity to build it? And who could build it quicker? So that's kind of where you decide, okay, am I gonna go after this? There's a lot of people racing me. so and then that's how you build. So it's yeah, you don't assume it. I mean, I'm surrounded by people. I feel like I'm the dumb guy, in the room. Like I'm surrounded by such smart people. And it's super cool, man. It's super cool. It's just like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And it's awesome that they're letting me guide them into, creating this business and growing it, and, trust me to take them to that next stage, which is, of course, is terrifying. Thinking about how many people's hands you have, that you have to take care of and make sure that, the company grows. But then at the end of the day, you realize we're all the same, and we're just all like passionate about doing this, and we'll make it happen because everybody's wanting to make it happen.
Right. Right. Yeah. They they
Uh,
they put they trust their lives in you and the company, right?
yeah, that's the honor.
So
That's the honor, man. That's like I thank them every single day, and I'm here. They're just actually out in the shop right now. They heard me that I was talking, but we have an open door policy here, so all my meetings with everyone, they get to hear them. So
right.
they know that what I'm talking to them and what I'm telling them, that and what I'm telling them, word is bond. So we trust. If we fail, you all heard it from the beginning, basically.
Right. Right.
So, but it allows everybody to trust and go, okay, yeah, I see what he's doing, or what he's doing next, or why he's doing what he's doing next. So it's really helpful. I don't have to hide anything because there is nothing to hide. We're trying to grow, and we're making cool stuff. That's us.
Right. Right.
Mm.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
Thank you, man. It's been a journey, that's for sure.
Yes, but I was thinking about this. You know what experience is? Experience is the all the errors that we made before that allow us not to make them now, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So
If you don't make mistakes, I mean, I'm telling you, mistakes is what got us here, right? It's trying
yes,
things out. So, one of the interns earlier today, we're talking to him, and I'm telling him that, you know what? Like, you'll never get in trouble here if you're honest. So if you tell me I broke this, but you explain how you broke it and why, then I'm happy because that means you learned something. right? You're not going to do it again. Now, the bad thing is if you lie to us and now we have other guys trying to fix something that's the wrong thing because you didn't say what really happened, you know? So by being honest, we all move forward. We all move faster and we all get smarter. So if you break it, bro, like admit it. I'll be the first one. They know it. I'm like, man, I screwed this up, bro. And of course, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's a little embarrassing, you know. It's like, damn, the CEO blew that thing up. Like, you know, I'm human, bro. It happens. Um, you
Right,
know, I have a lot of knowledge, but I'm still human, and I want you guys to know that. You know, I could hide it. Of course, I'm the CEO, but you know, like, no, man, I don't want to hide it. I want them to know and learn from it, so that they don't make the mistake that I made. You know, and
right.
same thing. Like, if you lie to me and you're telling me, you know, I'm like, hey, I'm a PhD of this. You know, and you tell me something, I want to be able to trust that what you just said is 100% true. So that's why the team is super important. You know, to have a team that you can really trust and you know that will like everything that you're learning from them, you're learning because they really did try it or they failed at it or they did it and it works, right? So it's critical. That's been the success has been the team. I've been very, very fortunate to have built an amazing team.
That's amazing. Yeah, there is a an issue with mistakes that is, I made the mistake, then I'm a failure, right? And
Uh,
there is that, especially for trainees, right? That they have to, overcome an understanding that it's not a failure. It's part
mhm.
of their experience, right? And once they're honest, then once you can build trust, then you can move forward faster, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I I one of the things that I've been doing is interviewing software engineers, and I have a few questions as well to test their basically their integrity, right?
Oh,
For me,
yeah.
their integrity is more
Mhm.
important than their skills, right?
Mhm.
And honesty is one of them, right? But yeah, so we had a case where um, one developer broke something in production and didn't say anything, and then we were trying to figure it out, and it was the lie that got him fired. It was not the mistake,
That's what I'm
right?
saying, right? Yeah. If you would have said, "Hey, man, this happened," everybody can
Right,
live with that. Like everybody makes mistakes. How do we fix it? We can fix it. But now, if you wait till it's too late and now it causes all this drama, and then now we can't trust you, then how do we work with you, right? So,
right. Trust is everything. Yeah.
mhm.
And that's why I talk about integrity, because that's uh, that's core, right? Can I trust somebody in the worst, right? In the worst situation, right? Because
Mhm.
everybody's a friend when there's abundance, right? Uh,
Yes. And even
everybody's a
friends you
friend
didn't
for
know existed will appear when there's
yes,
abundance.
yes. Drinking buddies, is the world is full of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But when things get tough, then who's going to show up, right? Who's going to be
Yeah.
there
Who's
for
your
you, right?
3 a.m. buddy, right? Who can you call at 3 a.m.? That's what I say, right? Like, yeah.
Right,
Like,
right,
you could do amazing things. If the people are around you, you could call at 3 a.m. and they'll answer.
right, right. And
Mm,
in that process of going through something difficult, you build that brotherhood that otherwise, wouldn't exist.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you researched that we were on Discovery Channel on BattleBots. So that's like robot fighting.
Yeah, I was going to ask
And
you about that. Yeah.
okay, yeah. So there we go. We just wanted to be able to show the world, you know, what kind of things we did, but without
Right.
telling the world. It's like, you know, tell me who you are without, you know, without
Telling me
telling
who
me who
you
you
are. Yeah.
are. Yeah, yeah. So BattleBots is one of those like shows that they've been around for like 20 something years. And everybody who's made it to that show, um, you have to have a pedigree. I mean, it's like the Olympics for robotics. So they only pick 50 teams around the world to be able to join them, and every single one of them has a pedigree. So it's like I've been doing this from high school, and we built this and that and the other thing. We showed up uh, with no pedigree. Like it was, we basically showed stuff that we shouldn't show to the to Discovery Channel, to the show, uh, and basically, yeah, we know what we're doing. Uh, would you let us in? Of course, the expectations are no. They're not gonna let us in because you've never built a BattleBot, right? But we showed enough where they said yes, and that meant we had 2 months to build a robot from the ground up. It had to be designed, put together, and be on TV to embarrass us if it didn't work. I mean, it's being recorded on TV. Like I mean, to me, honestly, we won the moment they said you're in. It's like you just
Right.
made it to, right? It's like saying I made it to the Olympics. I don't care if I lost. I made it to the Olympics, bro. Right? you know, when you
Yeah.
think about it that way, you're like, that was awesome, dude. Like we
I,
made it to the Olympics. Yeah.
I was the
Uh,
last one, but I made it.
Basic, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's still like, what did you do? I made it to the Olympics. So we made it, and the first hit of that robot goes and knocks out the other robot. So like we go KO on the first. I mean, took 2 hits. We hit him twice. It really destroyed the robot in the first time. If you actually watch the video, you're like, yeah, that thing was never moving again. But we hit it again, which was fun because we named the robot Double Tap. So we hit you twice and you were happy. But I mean, we were more surprised that the math that we did, that was educated math, because we've never been on the show or built something like that. It worked, right? So it's educated math. These guys sitting around doing all this math and going, okay, this should work based on the physics and what we watched on TV. That's it. That's all the knowledge we had from watching it on TV. And the thing went, 2-0 for the season. So I mean, how amazing is that? That was unexpected. That was just like a cherry on top of the fact that we made it to the show, so,
Right.
so heck yeah, man. And we lived together. So we actually rented an Airbnb in Vegas, and our team, oh man, how many? I think it was like 8 of us or more. It was probably more of us there in Vegas in the same Airbnb for like 12 days, if I'm correct. Um, Working day, night to get filmed and do this thing. There was no arguments. We just built, we had fun, and did our thing and came back home. Like that showed me. I remember when I came home, I was like, what a badass team I have, bro. Like, to be able to take, I mean, how many friends can you say you could stay in an Airbnb for that long, work day and night, and you're not gonna have an argument, you're gonna have fun.
Right.
That's sick, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So that
I have a similar team, and we go off roading to different parts
there
of,
you go. Yeah.
yeah. So I
Yeah, it's
spent
a family.
yeah, it becomes a family. We spent 4 days just off roading in the middle of nowhere. Uh, yeah, and it was amazing. And things broke down. My car broke down, and we fix it, and we continue driving, and yeah. Somebody,
That's the fun though. That's the fun. That's what makes it worth it. Like if everything went perfect, this is the way I say. If everything went perfect, life would be boring.
right, right.
Yeah.
So, 4 years ago, we did the same route, and we got stuck 5 days because we got hit by a tornado.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
so we had trees, pieces of trees flying over us, right? Um, Falling on us, right? So you couldn't
Uh-huh.
see, you could hear the cracks, but you couldn't see where they were coming from because the sound was bouncing everywhere, right? And then the road was blocked because a big boulder fell off on the road. So basically, we built a bridge with trees and rope. That's we had somehow, and then we had to build more rope because we ran out of it, right? So
Yeah.
we took bags and we took them apart just to make rope, right? Uh,
Dude, that's
and
awesome.
and then I think we had like 6 cars that had to drive
Uh-huh.
over the boulder, right? Uh, oh, it was I mean, it was so much fun, right? But yeah, and we didn't wash for 5 days, so we didn't realize how stinky our cars were, because you're camping, you're in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah, of
So
course.
what you gotta
Yeah.
do, right? So yeah, but we have everything, we have water, we have fridge in the car, and we have beer. So we were
There
cool,
you
right?
go.
Yeah,
Heck
yeah, yeah.
yeah, man.
So the um, the government agency sent a chopper and landed because we have these little devices, and so we send an SOS. So they sent us a chopper, right? And and they showed up and they were like, "Are you okay?" And we're like, "Yes, we're okay." Um, do you do you need any medical assistance? Well, the only guy that got injured, we fix him, patch him up,
Uh-huh.
and they approved, and it was okay. So we had uh, we had all the people accounted for. We have one minor, but everybody was okay, right? And they were like, "Well, we can take you we can take you back on the chopper to civilization, but only the people, not the cars." And we look at each other, do we want to do a fun ride on the helicopter, right? That sounds fun, but we don't want to leave the cars alone, right? And if we do, we're going to, however we can, we're going to go back to the cars to continue our
Of
journey,
course.
right? So,
Yeah.
so
That sounds
we, we,
epic.
we said no, right? But everybody they asked everybody, and everybody said no. So if only one guy said yes, we will all have to go, right? So uh, it was amazing, yeah, yeah. And we that's what I was talking about, the brotherhood, right? We
Hmm.
survived. We had a friend that we sent a message at 3 a.m. saying we're stuck, and he showed up. It was like a 5-hour drive for him, so he showed up and he rallied up people locally because the local government, I don't know the name, but
Yeah.
the people that are helping you in those type of crises, they were overwhelmed because that tornado hit all the surrounding area and the roads were blocked. So
Yep.
they had I mean, we were not a priority for them,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah. You
I
guys are
mean,
okay. You're a bunch of guys. You got your Jeep. You got
yeah.
food. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we're,
get it. I get it.
we're,
Yeah.
we're going to open the main roads instead of taking care of you guys, right? Wait.
Yeah.
so so this guy showed up on the other side, bought chainsaws, two chainsaws, rally up 4 or 5 guys, and
Uh-huh.
then bring them food and said, start opening because the trail was closed on the other side as well, right? So we eventually meet 4 days later.
Oh, man.
So
But
it
see, that's your
was
3 a.m. buddy. That's your 3 a.m.
that's my
guy,
3 a.m.
right?
buddy. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm telling you, man, you get 5 of those 3 a.m. buddies, you could freaking make the world rotate the other way.
Yes, yes, amazing. So
Uh,
I saw that the BattleBot was like a spinning disc, right?
uh-huh.
Um, so how fast were you accelerating the spinning
Okay.
disc?
So that thing can hit 250 mile an hour tip speed. So, and that was at 50% power. But that was how much they legally allowed us to spin it at. Now,
Right.
to give you an idea, the metal of it is made out of AR 500. So that's the same metal that you use when you go to the shooting range, the plates in the back. That's what that metal is. So, so it was bulletproof steel that's spinning at 250 mile an hour tip speed. Um, and it weighed around 60 pounds. So now think about a hammer, right? Like you have like a 2 pound hammer. Now think about throwing that 250 miles an hour and what it can do. Now think about a 60-pound hammer and throwing that streak.
Yeah,
It is
angular moment, it's ridiculous.
it's ridiculous, dude. Like, I mean, that thing was so when we first spawned it, because we had to test it. This is in Vegas, so we had some friends out there. There's a metal artist actually, Louis, over there who makes amazing art. And we were at his shop. We took over his shop. He was so kind and let us take over his shop. And we were just drinking beer and building, right? But of course, we're like, okay, we're ready to spin this massive weapon thing. So we tied it to the back of a flatbed truck and drove it out. Everybody hid on well, some people were hiding underneath the truck. And then I even flew a drone over so that we can look down at it and make sure that, it was spinning properly, that it wasn't coming apart, and it could hit the speeds that we wanted to hit. And
Right.
that was the test, dude. That was the test. It was sick. Like we were sitting out. If this thing came off, it would have gone through the truck. So it was epic,
Yeah, easily, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
it's
people
so
don't
much energy.
understand. Yeah, people don't understand how crazy and how big these things actually are, and how expensive they are. Um, that BattleBot, if you were to like add the time and value and materials and everything on with, the fact that we're in Silicon Valley, because we have some of the most expensive everything here.
Yes.
That would have been a $200,000 robot. So
Wow.
yeah, and that was to get destroyed in 3 minutes, dude. So but you know what? It was, like you said, the most fun thing we've ever built.
it, and I understand it was undefeated. It was never
Yeah, because we got to fight twice. Like the actual championship fights were two, so it was undefeated on that.
right.
We had two other fights. One that was not meant to be like a fun fight. That we were begging this robot that like was so cool, dude. The engineering behind it was really cool, and the art piece, because we had one of our shells was designed by a Bugatti designer, and the metal artist. So we wanted to destroy it, and of course everybody's like, "Dude, that's supposed to be hung on the wall." Like, and we're like, "No, we want to destroy it. We came out here to destroy stuff. We want to destroy it." So there was this guy, we had this fight, this fun fight where he destroyed that shell. And everybody's like, you guys are nuts, man. Why would you do that? So we had that shell destroyed, and then we did have loss, but it was like on another competition. So it wasn't like the same like the Olympic type, show basically.
Right. Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, but still, we
That-
didn't. I mean, seriously, if we would have lost every fight, I would have still been like this, like grinning ear to ear and stoked, like, oh man, this is awesome.
Let's do it again. Yay.
Exactly, I totally, dude. Yeah, totally, 100%. So you gotta come see them.
Amazing.
We keep them in the hallway here. So if you ever come visit the office out here, I'll show them to you so you can understand how crazy these things actually are.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, would love to, for sure.
Like, yeah.
Awesome. So, what is what is the future looking like? Are you planning to um, you know, grow FireBot labs, spending more time on Ostrich Air? What the future looks like?
So it looks really bright, man. We FireBot Labs, we are we're still taking investments on that end, but they'll probably end here in the next couple of weeks because we're negotiating some pretty big investor deals at the moment. But that's
Oh,
already has
nice.
so many clients for it that like it's gonna be hard to keep up with the amount of clients that we have. So that's kind of the problem now is we need more people and more money to supply enough equipment for all the clients that are interested in using FireBot Labs. And then Ostrich Air will always keep making crazy things. So that's like a never ending, like who's next? What thing are we building next? And the projects that are right now and the lines for that are incredible. So, like, talk about subsonic jets, oh dude, it's never ending. It's crazy stuff. Like it's pretty crazy stuff. So Ostrich Air will always be super exciting, and FireBot Labs will always be doing superhuman like amazing things with autonomy and everything we learn on the Ostrich Air side.
Right. Right. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah. We're running out of time, so we should wrap it up.
That's all right.
But
Yeah, yeah.
any final remarks before we wrap it up?
Man, just do what you love. Like don't think you can't do it. Just work hard. I mean, there's always somebody that believes in the things that you believe in. And if you could find those guys, like we were talking about earlier, those 5, 3 a.m. guys, you'll be able to achieve anything you want to do, man. And just be happy, take on the errors. If you made mistakes, that's part of the process. You're gonna have good and bad days. If not, life will be boring. So, and how you overcome them is everything. So, you know, that's what I gotta say about it, man.
Amazing. Amazing. Very inspiring. So
Thank you.
thank you, Jonathan, for being here today, and I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to continue the conversation.
Un placer siempre y
Un
te
placer.
veo pronto.
Te veo pronto.
Okay.